And look, as I said, we've seen young guys come out and play well before in the playoffs. Magic, heck, 42, 15, and 7 playing center as a rookie in the NBA Finals. Remember that? Michael Jordan, second year, Rob, in the league, put 63 on one of the greatest teams ever, Boston.
Right. They lost,
1986.
but I remember that very vividly.
And no three-pointers, Rob. I don't even think he attempted a three-point shot.
Three-pointers back then were down by 3 and we need a 3.
Exactly. It was
Seriously.
like almost a trick shot. You know what I mean? It was like nobody taking threes. But my point is this. Think about scoring 63 with no threes. You balling. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are attacking the rim, which we know Jordan did with abandon early in his career. Now, it's still impressive if a guy gets 50 or 60 points. But that three-pointer helps. That three-pointer helps a lot, Rob. So, I'm looking at Jordan when he got to 63. 0 for 0 from three-point land.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, you could never imagine that now.
No.
And if Jordan was now, he'd be a great three-point shooter. You already know
totally
that.
agree.
He would. I don't care what anybody says, because he made himself a great jump shooter, Chris. When he first came in the league, it was a lot of dunks going to the basket. The Pistons and Knicks fixed that. So then he decided, okay, I'm not going to be around the league long if I keep taking my life into my own hands.
Right.
And then became a great jump shooter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So my point is this. The young guys, they're balling. We got to give them props. Devin Booker, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists he's averaging. On, Rob, 50, 40, 90. 50, 41, 91 to be exact. Donovan Mitchell, 32 points, 5 assists a game. Trae Young, 29 and 10 per game. Luka Doncic was 35, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds in his series. And he was 49, 40, 53. He can't shoot free throws. But, he lit up the Clippers, obviously. Ja Morant, 30 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds a game, Rob, in his first-round series with Utah. And Jason Tatum, 30.6 rebounds, 4 assists. Here's what I want to throw out at you. So those are a lot of young guys, really playing excellent basketball in the playoffs. Which youngster to you has been the most impressive so far in these playoffs?
Trae Young. Trae Young, from the standpoint of he came out of nowhere. I mean, a lot of people picked the Knicks in that series, didn't really think that much of Atlanta. They win that series pretty easily. What he was able to do, being the bad guy at Madison Square Garden, going to Philadelphia, winning game 1. The Falcons, the Hawks, have really, really put a stamp on it. And maybe other players will go further, and they've had a taste. Donovan Mitchell last year, I remember in the bubble, Chris, they won their first game and lost the next 4, if I remember correctly, when they lost to Denver.
Well, they were up 3-1 on Denver, right. So they lost the next 3, yeah.
Yeah, they were up 3-1, exactly. They were up 3-1, and then they choked that down. So they've been in the playoffs before. They've had, been in situations. But here's a guy who's totally fresh to it, and yet he's not just putting up numbers. They're winning. They're winning and winning convincingly. I just think he has been a surprise where some of the other guys, even in Devin Booker's case, and there's no knock on Devin Booker and what he's done, having Chris Paul makes a big difference. I don't know if I look at the Hawks, I can say he has somebody who's been through those. Right, he doesn't have anybody. He's the leader. Who's been through the wars or been through the battles, So that's why I would pick Trae Young. I just love what he's been able to do, and to see the difference between him and Luka's, his team, Trae Young's team, wins.
You would have went with Luka had they won that series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because then that would have been a huge upset to me, and what they were able to do. And then I think he would have turned the corner because they lost to the Clippers last year. You know what I mean? He would have made a step, but he didn't make a step this year despite the numbers.
Rob Parker. This is growth. This is growth. I want all of you out there in Radio Land to understand what you just heard. Because Rob Parker never gives the light-skinned brothers any love.
Stop.
For him to give Trae Young that kind of love, Rob, that's growth.
I'm just going on
touched.
how he's played. It has nothing to do with light skin.
I'm touched.
Seriously.
My goodness. This is growth, folks. This is growth. Mark it down. June 11th.
I love how he's played. Light skin, brown skin, dark skin.
He is balling. Look, yeah, you laid out a good argument for Trae. Obviously, he's playing well. And to your point, I mean, I think Rob, I mean, he's not going to be, he'll never be, I don't know if you disagree. I doubt you do. He'll never be the best player in the league. He's going to be up there. He's going to be an all-NBA guy and, perennial all-star and all that. But he is going to be, I guess you'd say maybe one of the faces of the league, right? And he's a good face, Rob, because his game, obviously, with the long shots, and he'll nutmeg some dudes, go throw the ball between their legs. He's got a lot of flash and swag to his game, so he's fun to watch. But he's also got a little villain in him, Rob. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, I'm not going to put him on this level yet, but you see a little potential here, like Reggie Miller. As far as, the villain loving the garden, coming, the crowd going at him. And if he's going to be a top player and he's willing to go at, because Rob, when they go elsewhere, those fans are going to try to mimic what the Knicks fans did. And so a lot of places he's going to get booed. They're going to be chanting about him, and he's going to soak it up. And so I think that's always good TV and good drama, Rob. Good fun.
No, I mean, that's what sports is supposed to be like. Like people taunting you and you overcoming, or I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen it, at ballparks, baseball, basketball, not so much as football, but basketball and baseball, definitely. You could taunt somebody. They're at the plate. They're at the free throw line. Right. You know what I mean? Trying to get at them, or every time they touch the ball. We've seen that when Kyrie went to Boston, Chris. Right. So that's a part of the game. So, yeah, and he embraces it. He's not running from it.
All that said, I'm going to go with Donovan Mitchell, Rob. And like I said, you make a good argument for Trae. But I think, and obviously they haven't solved him, but I think Philly may have figured some things out with Trae. Because in the second half of game one, remember, he lit him up in the first half, had over 20 points, I believe, in the first half. And in the second half, he had 10, which isn't horrible, but he only had 10 points. And that was when they put Simmons on him, they had Matisse Thybulle on him, they trapped him, they got the ball out of his hands. And their length, they're a long team on the perimeter, Philadelphia. And I think it bothered Trae a little bit. In the second game, he goes for 21. And which, again, not horrible, but obviously he didn't light them up. And in this game, he's got 5 points. It's early, still the first quarter, but he's got 5 points. And they're getting the ball out of his hands a bit. So I think Philadelphia has, whether they've solved him or not, they've certainly slowed him down. Donovan Mitchell's having his way with two of the best. I think they're older. I think Posey's right. They're a little more focused on offense at this stage of their career, and they're not quite the defenders they used to be. Certainly not on a consistent level, but still, he is lighting up Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And I know they're not guarding him a ton, really, a lot, but still, they're the anchors of that defense. And they got nothing for him. 45 in game one, 37 last night in game two. They're up 2-0. And, Rob, the Utah Jazz, after losing their first playoff game without Mitchell to Memphis, they're 6-0 when Donovan Mitchell's on the court. So this dude, man, I said it on First Take. Win or lose, he's going to be viewed as a superstar.
I hope you didn't say it on First Take because that was years ago.
Yeah,
Please say you didn't say it on First
I said it on first. Did I say first? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
First things first. First things first. Win or
What did
lose.
Stephen A. say when you said
I'm going to
it?
get to that before we go to this break and throw it out to the callers. But win or lose, Rob, I think after this series, Donovan Mitchell will be regarded as a superstar. But I'm not going as far as our man Stephen A. And you know both of us got mad love for Stephen A. He might be listening because he listens to the show.
He listens to the show. He might be driving right now as we speak. Steve,
Yes.
pull over because Chris is going to rip you. Pull over.
I texted Stephen A. the other day. I said, look, he put up his top five point guards if Chris Paul wins the championship this year. And it was Chris Paul 5, Isaiah Thomas 4, Oscar Robertson 3, Steph 2, and Magic 1. And I told him I agree totally with that list if they win it. But Stephen A. said something today, Rob, that I knocked me out of my chair when I heard it.
All I'm going to say is this before you say
knock you out too.
Steve got caught up and became a prisoner of the moment today. Plain and simple.
He
Plain
said Donovan Mitchell is the greatest player in Utah Jazz history.
Just not true.
Steve, could he become that? Maybe. We'll see. There is no way, Rob. Okay, obviously the best player in Utah Jazz history is Karl Malone.
And you can make a case that John Stockton is number 2, Chris.
No, not make a case.
Right?
I think that's clear. Don't you think it's Stockton? I don't think it's close.
So you already got 2 people in the way, and you're telling us that Donovan Mitchell off of 45 and 37 is the best Utah Jazz player ever? Come on. No.
I'm even, Rob,
No.
I even got a third guy that I'm putting ahead of him. No, I'm not going that far.
That's a good name, though, right? That's a good pull, Thurl Bailey.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was a
No,
nice
I mean
little
just
role
for
player.
Utah
Oh,
Jazz.
yeah, going back. Yes, definitely. That's good on you. How about Adrian Dantley, Rob? How about Adrian Dantley? Adrian Dantley was a straight-up baller. Adrian Dantley is a Hall of Famer. He's a 6-time All-Star. He's a 2-time scoring champ. Rob, here were his numbers in Utah. 28 points a game. 30.7, 30.3, 30.7, 30.6, 26.6, 29.8. Then, as you know, he was traded to Detroit. So he had 4 straight years of averaging 30 or more points a game. I got him 3. And then, like I said, we'll see what Mitchell does. The dude's phenomenal. But no, Rob, come on.
No, that was
you hit on the head.
That was you're looking at the moment. He's playing great, and you want to give him the ultimate compliment, but you just can't bypass history. I just, like you said, I mean, if you want to go with Adrian Dantley there, Chris, but there's at least 2 rock solid. Karl Malone's the second leading scorer in the history of the NBA, wearing a Utah Jazz uniform every year except for 1 year. What else do you have to say?
And 2 trips to the finals.
Right.
I mean, when you had to go through David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, you know what I mean? Shaq. Shaq and Kobe, they went through, Rob. So
I can't
know
get with it.
Kobe was young, but